Hello, my name is Frances Fox, and I'm a trained remote viewer. I am skilled in all of the psychic abilities, and I am working with a movement called the Mantrista movement, where 3 years ago we understood that we were going to be able to access superpowers all human beings have. And we have been practicing for 3 years. It's been really interesting. Humans do not have a problem that they do not need. And I have a problem. But that problem has taken me to understand something to where I was able to decipher string theory and also the movie The Matrix. How is that? Let's start with the story where it starts, which is Jesus Christ on the cross. I'm not Christian, I'm not Catholic. Jesus Christ was on the cross, and they had a lance, one of the soldiers, and it pierced his liver. And I said, you know what? That's a sign. The same way that crown of thorns is a sign that we really need to find out what's in that third eye, which turns out to be our superpowers. Back to the liver. I said, there's something there. And what we found, and I have a friend of mine who is very bright, and she is writing a book on the liver. And I was working with her one day, and I told her a story. And the story basically has to do with everything having to do with evil on the planet originates off planet, and the liver has a lot to do with it. And then we kind of dropped that. When I went back to Jesus Christ and the liver and the lance, this is important for all of you. This is not just a story. You can start practicing what I'm going to teach you tonight on your own family, on your own people. So Jesus Christ has an injury, and we work on it for about a year, and we found out, obviously, the liver has to do with controlling temperature in the body. It's the place where we hold in the other dimensions our excess rage, anger, etc. So we invented a technique, and the technique is called the glacier technique, and it basically is in the other dimensions. It's the ice bucket technique. So somebody already knew we were going to need this. You place a piece of ice inside the back of the liver, and you ice down the liver. You put the liver in an igloo. You put the person in an igloo. It reduces their fire element, and they are no longer as angry. They're not ready to go to war. They're not ready to tear your eyes out. This was very, very, very neat. Okay, fast forward. We're here. I have an enemy. I'm a mind control victim. I have to have a control someplace. I have had handlers. I have a handler whose name is Rene Villegas in Miami. 60, I think he lives on 63rd Court. I've already put this information out there. His bosses maybe are more afraid of him than I am. So I'm clearing, and now I can't quite remember what was it, the precise thing that I was able to realize. He's a specialist in Egyptian magic. Everybody's afraid of him. His coworkers, the other Cuban mafia that work with him, everybody's terrified of him. He's very powerful. So I've been working for 30 years to get this man off my back and off of my family's back. And I realized, in addition to, I'm going to kill your kids and you're going to choose which one I'm going to kill first, those are the kind of threats he has always delivered to me. I realized that he had inserted, a lot of people told me that he was living off of my energy. And we hear that a lot, but how do they do that? Well, let me show you. All human beings have all of these bodies you're going to see on screen. See them? We're not going to go into all of them. The one with the chakras and the green strings, those are the 72,000 mind streams that humans have. Okay, they channel energy, but it goes both ways. This is the basis for why feng shui is so important, because your environment channels to you, you feed off of it. You also feed your environment. Okay, so here you are, right here. That's everybody, except we don't look like that because we have so many different places where we're pulling and yanking, we're hanging on some of those mind streams to our bank account, to our kids, but we're only hanging on to them. This Renee learned or had one of his mind streams, or many of them, inserted into my spleen. Well, why the spleen? Spleen channels the energy of children and also projects. Ah, we had already understood months ago that in the back of the human liver, there is a channel from Orion. What is that? A galaxy? It's not a galaxy, it's a star, it's a whatever. Orion. Let's say it's a planet. Orion is supposedly where a lot of evil that's on the planet playing out today comes from there. How does it get here? We understood around 6 months ago that it comes in via a channel to the back of the liver. And that's where we put the ice in the liver. We ice down the liver because what is coming from Orion is hot. So if you keep the liver cool down, you have more protection. And then, and I don't remember the sequence, but it's all on videotape on about 5 different platforms where I'm talking about disconnecting from Orion. We did a practice, which I'm going to guide you in today, and you're going to be able to use it on yourself and your family. Even though you may not have a Renee Villegas in your life, you have Orion, and we think there's more. But so we went ahead to the back of the liver, and we figured out through a process that the thing that can cut this channel is black obsidian, which is what the Mayans used to cut out the heart of the people that they sacrificed. We're not going to go into that now. And we use that either as a scissors or as a knife to cut the channel between Orion and the back of everyone's liver, including yours. Now, I'll teach you the other details about the cutting. And at some point in all of that, I find that it's not Orion, an entire planet, but some guy that lives 40 blocks from me that has taken one of his mind streams and inserted it into my spleen to, look at all the stuff that they put up on my, okay, I click that. It's not a conspiracy, even though I always think it's a conspiracy. Okay, he was feeding off of me, which everybody has told me that for at least 10 years. He's feeding off of also another very thin woman in Miami, which I think is a relative of mine, but I can't save everybody. And hopefully this video will get to her and she'll do it. So we went ahead and we worked on disconnecting this mind stream from this Renee guy. And then we realized that what's coming from Orion is mind strings. This, and I'll put it up again. Those strings that come off of us also come off of planets. By the way, the center one, which is shaped like a double terminated funnel chalice, is also black holes are mind streams. So Orion has inserted mind streams into the back of everybody's liver. So a lot of you are going to go, oh, come on, Francis, give me a break. Come on, let's get to work. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to give you what I think can liberate you, which is the whole point of why I'm here. And I don't do things necessarily systematically because that is not the way creativity works. Okay? So a planet can connect to your liver and has for centuries. I haven't gone into that. I don't know. Delivers the element of fire, which feeds frustration, insomnia, high blood pressure, heart conditions, rage, anger, wanting to kill, getting emotionally out of control, getting physically out of control, murdering, and ultimately suicide. All of that is channeled into the back of our liver, which is underneath our right breast. And I think it's the only organ that wraps around the body. Not sure. Doesn't matter. So we have a planet that inserts its mind strings, I came up with that name, into our liver as a humanity. And then we have people like Renee that insert it into people to control them. So Orion's trying to control us through feeding us something that turns us against each other. Renee is doing it to control me and also to feed off of me. He's really tired. So we realized in our group, we do a lot of experiments with remote viewing, which I've trained everybody in, and I'm the one that takes the lead, and I'm the one that comes up with most of the really off the wall information, and then we verify, validate, work on it, and create some kind of a technique or something to where there's ultimately something that you can take home with you, that you can use in your life to make your life better. So what are we going to do now? We're going to practice because, see, you have mind streams from Orion inserted in the back of your liver. And we now know that we must have mind streams all over the place. Now, I don't think I got the graphic up here, but if you remember the movie, The Matrix, they have babies that are in this liquid and they have all these tubes, channels going into them. That's what the movie Matrix is all about. When they put the tube in the back of the neck, everything changes. When your kid gets totally out of control, changes his personality, becomes very aggressive, and you may even need to think you're going to have to call the police, it's because they inserted a tube, which are mind streams, which I've never looked to see where it was because it was just recently I figured out this whole mind stream thing. Now, Renee listens to all my chats. So we are in a pitched battle for me. He's trying to keep me under control, and I'm trying to release myself. But in that process, I learned something that is a gift to all of us. The movie Matrix was filmed or released in 1999. I saw it. I really didn't like it. I saw it again between last night and today. Oh my God. Anytime you get something that everybody is so taken aback by and so hooked on, even if you don't know what it's about, your instincts are telling you there's a reason. And there was a reason for that movie to be so impactful for so many people, and they didn't know what it was about. Ultimately, it's about superpowers, because superpowers are in the third eye. But Jesus Christ, he's got this crown of thorns. We got to get beyond that crown of thorns, which is a lot of the training that we do in this class. So we're going to go ahead, and we are not going to go into the mantra first because I may lose some of you. I don't want to lose you. We're going to go ahead and we're going to use Renee as a guinea pig. You are not going to be doing anything to harm him. You are not supposed to be cutting other people's mind streams, okay? Or your own. Now, that does not apply if they are invading you with their mind streams. That does not apply in the movie Matrix. You cut, you cut, you cut, and you cut. So what you're going to do now, you're going to visualize, and I'll put this graphic up, and we'll have two of us up here. You're going to visualize that this is Renee. Are we going to be able to get this to happen? There we go. I think. Let's do it again. Give me a second. I'd like to have both things up on camera at the same time. So there I am, and let's see if I can get this up. There you go. Nope. There we go. Nope. Nope. Okay, it's not going to happen. You are going to imagine that you're looking at right now is Renee, and that he has mind streams that extend out of it. Now he is controlling, he has 13 people he has under control with mind streams. 13. I don't know who the other ones are. I suspect I have family members there. And you don't need to find out who they are. All you have to do is know that if he has mind streams that extend beyond that canopy, okay, he's not supposed to do that. That goes against the law of free will of planet Earth. So we're going to use as usual, his bad behavior. We have learned so much with this man because he knows so much. And we've had to defend ourselves constantly from him, not just me, but the whole Mantrista movement and my family. They won't admit it. Okay. I have no problem with people thinking I'm nuts. I have zero problem with that. Zero. It all comes out in the wash. So you're going to visualize that's him, and you're going to do this mantra. The mantra is, please God, help us with our intention to cut his intrusive mind streams, to miraculously. Give me a second. To miraculously cut his intruding or controlling mind strings. Why is this so important? The importance of the movie The Matrix is telling us how important this is, because in The Matrix, everybody's controlled by tubes that are inserting in them. That is symbolic of the human mind streams that now we find out even planets have mind streams and try to control us. Black holes are mind streams, really, really big ones. Telomeres are mind streams. So let's go ahead and start this. I'm going to put a very soft music on. You're going to visualize. Wouldn't it be nice if I could get this to come up together with me? No, why won't they do that? Nope, not going to happen. Visualize that not this that's in the canopy, but some that extend out. You are now going to visualize that you have in your hand a knife or a pair of scissors that's made out of black obsidian crystal. The first thing you're going to do is you need to clamp off of, with a black obsidian clamp, that extra long mind stream that you're seeing that's coming out of his canopy, that's going beyond, reaching to something it's not supposed to reach for. Clamp it. So here's the mind stream. We don't know where it's going. We actually don't need to know where it's going. You're going to clamp it here. You're going to take your scissor and your knife and you're going to cut it. Excuse me. First, you have to go inside your liver or his liver. No, we're not doing the liver. You don't need to do that. We're not going to give him any help. You cut the mind stream, and then your hands all of a sudden become ice, and you cauterize the end of the mind stream. Okay? And that's it. You don't have to do it. This is him. You don't have to do anything to what's hanging off of him. You needed to cauterize whatever's leaving, and that's it. So let's go ahead and start. You know what? Let's start with your own liver. We're going to start with your liver. And then we'll go on to Renee. That's you with the chakras. Pretend that's the back part of you. Your liver is underneath your right breast. So you go inside your liver, you put a large chunk of ice inside the back wall of your liver. And don't say, how do I do it? You intend on doing it, and you visualize yourself doing it. As if you got real small and you went inside your liver, you put a big chunk of ice there. You go outside again, you look at yourself from the side, and you go ahead and clamp off this huge tube that's coming out of your liver from the back. You clamp it. And then not the part that's close to your body, but the part that's outside of the clamp, which is the one that goes to Orion, with a black obsidian knife or scissors, you cut it. You cut. Sometimes there's little strings left, like when you cut cucumber, and there's these little strings left. Make sure you get all the strings, and then your hands turn into ice, and you cauterize the end of the mind stream that you cut. You cauterize it. You ice it to where it's frozen. as you're saying this mantra. But we need to change it because we're not working on Renee yet. Now, when you finish that, go ahead and go to Renee and do the same thing, but don't go inside his liver. We're not doing him any favors. And do the same thing with this mantra. And I am going to be doing the mantra to facilitate this. What are we doing? We're applying the knowledge that the movie The Matrix tried to give us in 1999, but that we did not have the discovery of the mind strings yet. We didn't understand that these mind streams that come off of all of us, that we all have 72,000, that's in Buddhism, we didn't understand that they can control our children, our bank account. We also didn't understand that incredibly powerful black magicians could use it to control us. I don't know how many people can do what he does. I don't think it's part of the mind control program. I think it's something that he learned because of his connection with the Egyptian black magic. So go ahead, work on your liver first. Repeat. On you, you put a block of ice inside the back wall of your liver. Breathe. Just follow my instructions. You don't need to think. You're not doing anything bad. Your instincts should be telling you that. Now go outside of your body, stand next to your body. You should be small. There's a tube coming out from the back of your liver. That was a sign left by Jesus Christ on the cross. Guys, you put a clamp on that tube, 6 or 8 inches away from the body. Here's the body. Here's the tube, which are mind streams. You clamp it with a clamp made of black obsidian. And in your hand, you're going to have scissors or a knife made of black obsidian, and you're going to cut that tube. And there may be strings hanging. You make sure you cut them. Then your hands immediately become ice, and you cauterize the end of the tube that you just cut. Just cauterize it. And breathe. That's you. And then you go to Villegas, Rene Villegas. You visualize him, and whatever of his strings are extended beyond the canopy, which is where they're supposed to be, that would be controlling people. Notice the mantra says controlling mind streams. You do the same thing. You clamp it with a black obsidian clamp. You cut it with a black obsidian scissors or knife, and then you cauterize it. I guess you could cauterize both ends of it, the part that stays connected to him and the part that you just cut off. Keep breathing. It doesn't take long. In the other dimensions, everything's fast. That's why it's so frustrating for people who actually work in the other dimensions a lot to see how we have to do things on the physical dimension. Keep breathing. Now, why is this valuable? Well, it's going to liberate me. Why is it valuable for you in the world? It's the message of the movie The Matrix. We're being controlled by the mind of other planets, of other peoples. And now we find out through my personal experiences, there are some people on planet Earth that know how to control you by inserting their mind streams into you. This man feeds off of my energy and 12 other people. It's no wonder nobody can take him down. It's no wonder everybody, including his bosses, are terrified of him. He's like Rasputin. And like Rasputin, he has a lot to teach us. I hope this is the last lesson because honestly, I'm exhausted. Here we go again with the human assemblage of bodies, which we all have, no exceptions. Those mind streams are supposed to stay within. They do grab onto our kids. They grab onto our first home. They grab onto the husband that we didn't want to get a divorce from. They grab onto our childhood home. They grab onto a lot of things. Those 72,000 mind strings, the Nile green, are what the Buddhist monk call the monkey mind. The center, which is the Holy Grail, it's like a chalice. That is the fundamental structure of the universe. Black holes are made of that. The mind stream that comes from Orion is made from that. All the mind streams look like that double terminated funnel. The energy goes back and forth. So the movie The Matrix, we didn't understand it, but the message is powerful. And it's interesting that the message is now being understood during end times revelations. I'm not sure that I could have gotten this information to deliver to you any earlier than now. I'm not sure that that level of information that could liberate human beings would have been allowed to come out. So you should continue to work on your liver, because I don't think it gets accomplished permanently one time, because I think they can reinsert them. And then while you're at it, you can practice on this man, Renee, because there's so many people that will be practicing. He's not going to come after you, believe me. If we can get him disconnected from the 13 people, me plus 12 others, he's not going to have the strength to continue to do what he's been doing for so many people. There is so much information that I want to get out to you that I'm not able to because of him. So we need to get him out of the way, but that's not the reason why we're doing this. We're doing this as an opportunity, which at the highest level of spirituality, he has offered us to teach us to unravel the mysteries of the movie The Matrix. So let's go ahead. This is what you looked like before you came in as a group. I sketched you before we started. We're going to go ahead now and do 15 minutes of the mantra, which is the most soothing. And then we're going to be finished. So the mantra is interesting. No, I don't have it. Yes, I do have it someplace. You would think I would have this right here. Here it is. Okay. One of the programs that all of these people around me, by the way, I live in a building, and the people in this building really don't know what they're doing because they are aligning with him. And the lights on my side of the building, one would never work no matter how many times. And then 2 nights ago, they took out the light next to my apartment door. So I don't know what it is, who's planning what, I'm giving you guys all a heads up. Not just to the people that are following me, but the people in this building. I don't know what they think they're aligning with, but they don't look like they're bad people. So why on earth they would be aligning with somebody that is this? Well, it's a whole mind control thing. He does black magic on them. And he also threatens everybody, not just me. So maybe that's what it is. Okay. Here is the mantra that we're going to do so that you can finish. Right now, you need to self-assess yourself. Okay? How do you feel? 1 to 10. 1 is you want to slit your wrist, you feel so bad. And 10 is you feel like $1 million. Assess yourself. Go ahead and take a peek at the gold dress, which will tell you where your frequency is at now and where it's going to be at when we finish. Okay? And I'm going to put on the music for this mantra from the solar plexus, which, by the way, is where Renee Villegas had, I don't think it was one mind stream. I tend to think it was thousands of them inserted into my spleen, constantly making me fearful about my children because of the stuff he said he was going to do. We're not talking years ago. No, we're talking as recently as a month and a half ago. We're not talking years ago. He's really determined. So let's go ahead and get the music. And we will have sketches with all of this, and we will be doing a lot of posts and social media to give you the storyline. I think it's a little bit difficult to take in all at once. Just know I discovered the structure of the mind, which are mind strings, string theory. And because of the gift from Renee, the man that keeps giving, I discovered not my favorite movie, I discovered what the matrix is all about, which is a gift to humanity. Because if even planets have mind strings, and there are planets that we know in astrology that are not so well intended, such as Orion, then we need to know that. So let's do 15 minutes, okay? Mantras are repeated in silence. You expel the breath through your mouth. We have exactly 100 people. Nice number. I made an executive decision. We're only doing 10 minutes instead of 15. How do you like that? Why? Because the sketch I did is really interesting. This is how you guys look before you showed up today. I sketched it prior, trying to be efficient. This is how you looked when I started to give you the information about the inserting of the chords, the mind strings. By the way, they're in the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic, the mind strings. There's even a version called the version that undoes knots, because those mind streams get knotted. Oh, that's the other thing you have to do when you cut the mind stream. You have to knot it. Okay? So this is how you guys look when I gave you the information. And the word here is afraid. And yet, the mind streams are longer. You're more thoughtful, depressed, shocked. But look at you now. Look. Power awakened. Because the movie, The Matrix, is about intrusions of other people's minds and other planets' minds, other people. I don't know. I can tell you that Orion is interfering, and you will soon know because you're going to be able to see it if you stick with us long enough. But power awakened. These are these strings that I keep drawing, okay? And then the eyes very awake, the hands very superpowers awakened with this information. Because in the movie The Matrix, it's not just about being controlled through mind strings. It's about superpowers when you believe, which is what I tell everybody who follows me. When I start to teach people to be psychics, a lot of them don't say anything when I say, okay, read this, and we do it as a group. And then some of them go, oh, I saw that too. And I said, well, why didn't you share? And they said, well, I thought maybe I made a mistake. You don't trust yourself. We all have superpowers, and they're in the third eye, which is what's waking up now. So the movie The Matrix tells us about something incredibly negative, but once we know it, we can start to take care of ourselves. This may have been the hidden factor with this man, Rene, and what he's done to everybody, including my neighbors. Now we know. But then that means the other part of the movie, the superpowers, is also true. And it is because at this time in human history, we are scheduled to access our third eye with the superpowers. And Jesus Christ had his crown of thorns because I guess in the age of Pisces, we weren't supposed to do that. Who knows who makes those decisions? Okay, so this is good. Superpowers awakened in everybody with this information. Thank you, whoever did The Matrix. It apparently was two brothers. I don't know if they're still alive. And if I contact them, they won't believe me anyway, initially. Eventually, everybody will, because the truth has a way of standing. It doesn't fall down. And I'm reading on X in so many different places where it says, if you have a lot of information, you end up very lonely. If you have a gap between what it is that you know, or even what you have between you and other people, it's very difficult because that's where the spirits play. They want to keep you isolated. So we will be back again tomorrow. I suggest that you try this technique, and I'm going to get it written up formally as soon as I finish the protocol. But it's basically what it is I told you. Do not be running around cutting people's mind streams. It is very difficult to do this that Renee did. You have to really be an expert. And you're not allowed to cut people's mind streams unless you're defending yourself. But most people don't have the ability to insert themselves into your mind like that. Whenever I find out exactly how he did it, other than threats, I will let you know. A lot of electricity is used. I don't know if that was used. I have no idea. But we will let you know. My name is Frances Fox. I was trained as a remote viewer, and I was used as a psychic spy. Am I proud of my history, in which I was never compensated a penny for, nor was I asked, nor was I thanked for anything that I did? No. But was it exactly what I needed in order to be here today? How on earth? I would have never been able to decipher this if I hadn't been through everything I went through and I didn't have the skills that would developed under such treacherous conditions. So I guess I have to thank everybody who was really bad to me, which is what we're taught in metaphysics. The people that behave the most poorly, they are the most evolved. And they're there to show us something, to teach us something. So we will see you back here tomorrow again.